May want to serve this at your next get-together. 40% of people eat this at least once a week. Is it ice cream, cereal, or pizza? A homeless man came into Melissa's bakery, but what he came out with might make you smile. How to get rid of a spam call real fast. And I know this from personal experience. And showing God's love is a great way to make an impact. And a judge passed away recently who was called the nicest judge in the world. Well, you'll see why. That's coming up on The Good News Show with Andy, where I'm all about putting a smile on your face and hope in your heart.
The Good News Show with Andy.
The number of the day is...
This might be a good idea of something to serve at your next get-together. 40% eat this at least once a week. It is pizza. You could have it morning, noon, and night. You got breakfast pizza. You could put different vegetables on it if you want to get healthy-ish. But let me know, what's that one thing that you say, Andy, I could eat this all day, every day, and I never get tired of it?
I would say watermelon and sweet corn.
So you just want it to be summer year-round. I'm okay with that. With the watermelon, though, do you want seeds or no seeds?
Unseeded. I like nice easy. Just take all the work out of it.
It would make grocery shopping a lot easier if you just ate one food every day for every meal. You might know a kid that has that diet.
I've got a 3-year-old son that sometimes he'll just get it stuck in his head that he should have toast with peanut butter on it. So even if everybody else is eating like an extravagant home-scratched meal that's like a couple courses long, he'll be eating like bread and water. And I'm like, come on, I offered you more than that, and you're eating peanut butter bread and water. It's like, I'm giving you real food here. Why don't you want it?
It's okay. It's just a phase. They'll upgrade to finer foods. Like my 14-year-old, all he'll eat is pizza.
I suppose that would be an upgrade.
Have you ever had someone test your patience? Jesus went through that too. He was fully God and fully human. And after a group of super religious people came to just pepper him with all these questions, they even asked for a sign from heaven to test him. This is after Jesus had just done some incredible miracles. So then God's word says that he sighed deeply. You could almost feel the, that he must have said. And then he responds by saying no and leaves. I think that gives us permission too to do that when people aren't respecting us or our time.
I hope this story makes you smile today.
A homeless man came into Melissa's bakery. She recognized him and was about to offer him some food, but instead he said, I'd like to buy one of your birthday cakes. Melissa couldn't believe it and couldn't charge full price, so she gave him a pretty big discount. He thanked her, picked up the cake, and walked out the door. But Melissa couldn't stop wondering, who was the cake for? She watched through the window as he crossed the street. There, sitting on the sidewalk, was another homeless man. He handed him the birthday cake. The man's face lit up. He burst into laughter and wrapped him in a big hug. Generosity isn't measured by how much we have. It's measured by how much we're willing to give.
You are awesome.
They care for the pets that feel like family. They help bring comfort when your furry friend is hurting. And they give you more healthy years with the animals you love. So if you are a veterinarian,
You are awesome.
everything's getting faster and faster and more efficient. Why does it feel like we don't have any more time? I realized this as I was helping out at my church in the donut line. And usually I am just the receiver of the donuts, but my wife, who's usually does that, she asked me to fill in for her one day. And so I'm like, okay, this is my chance. I can make this more efficient. I don't have to stand forever in the donut line anymore. And then some of the ladies that have done it for a long time said, well, they gave me a bunch of reasons why they just do it the way they always do it. I was trying to come up with a whole new system. We ended up going back to the way they wanted to do it. And then I realized, what was my purpose of making things faster? Why does everything have to be more efficient? Why was I annoyed that it took maybe a minute to get the donut in the donut line? Do I really not want to talk to anybody else around me that badly that I think, okay, if I stand that long, I will have to converse with the person in front and behind me? And what if the thing we need in life is not to speed things up anymore, but actually to slow things down. I don't know why I even answer the phone when it says unknown, but if you're like me, and every once in a while I just think, oh, well, I'm kind of expecting a call from someone. Maybe it's coming from a completely unknown number. Well, if it ends up being spam, what you can do to make sure they don't ever call you back again, it's a way to level up your life. Just answer your phone and say, hello, you're on the air. And 99% of the time, people will just hang up. I know this from personal experience right here. Maybe you're looking around right now and you're saying, God, what about me? In God's word, he told his people, I've loved you. And they had that same question. How have you loved us, God? They weren't looking at what God had done in the past. They were looking at what they didn't have. They saw dishonest people getting ahead as they were just barely getting by. Maybe you feel that way right now. Maybe you've wondered why it seems like everyone else is being blessed while you're just trying to make it through. God's answer to them, and I think to us now, is not to work harder. He said to them, return to me. Then he said, bring me your first and your best, and see if I will not throw open the floodgates of heaven and pour out so much blessing that there won't be enough room to store it. The problem isn't what's in the bank account. Sometimes it's what's happening in the heart. When comparison steals your peace, you can return to God. When fear tells you to hold back, you can trust him with your first and your best. And when you take that step of faith, that's when you get to discover the peace, the joy, and the confidence that come from knowing you're in the hands of a God who always keeps his promises. And it looks like you've got a text from God. My son will lead you like a shepherd. You will live secure with him, and he will be your peace. He's a judge that passed away recently, and that usually isn't newsworthy, other than Frank Caprio was known as the nicest judge in the world because he would find out someone's story before he gave them their sentence.
96 years old, and I drive slowly, and I only drive when I have to.
You were taking your son to the doctor's office?
Yeah, I take him for blood work every 2 weeks because he's got cancer.
You are a good man. You really are what America is all about. Here you are in your 90s, and you're still taking care of your family. How old is your son?
63.
Listen, sir, I wish you all the best. I wish the best for your son, and I wish you good health, and your case is dismissed.
A large crowd had been following Jesus for 3 days with nothing to eat. And it says in God's word that Jesus has compassion on them. He says, if I send them home hungry, they'll collapse along the way. So his closest followers, his disciples, say, well, all we've got is 7 loaves of bread. So Jesus takes them, splits it up, multiplies it to feed 4,000 families. He had compassion on these people that were so desperate for hope, they hung on to his every word for days, not even taking time to eat. I don't know what this looks like in real life, but Jesus clearly wants us to focus on him first and not worry about anything else. He'll take care of it. If you get frustrated when you can't fix people's problems, I do too. I feel guilty, but here's your permission from God's word to not feel like you have to carry all of the burdens of every person that you interact with every day. Some people that were sharing about Jesus went into a town and they asked for money, and they said, well, we can't give you money, but we can give you Jesus. So when you feel guilty that the only thing you can do is pray for them, that's actually the best thing that you can do for them. When you just say, hey, God, here's what my friends are dealing with today. I can't help them, but I know you can. Most baseball fields sit empty all summer now, but there's one backyard where the game never stopped. It all started with one kid named Tyler. A few summers ago, he invited a few friends over for a game of Wiffle Ball. Word spread. Soon kids from all over town were showing up with gloves, bats, and bikes. And when they needed more room, a neighbor bought the overgrown lot behind his house and told the kids they could have it. They mowed the weeds themselves, built the field themselves. The foul lines? Flour from Walmart. Every afternoon ended with a championship game. Then Tyler was given something much bigger than a trophy. He was inducted into the National Wiffle Ball Hall of Fame because he was the kid who got everyone outside, making sure everyone had a place they could belong. That's how to love God and love others.
Giving help to a stranger, sharing with your neighbor, turning darkness into light, loving God and loving people right.
If you're socially awkward like me, you struggle with simple things like, how do you respond to people when they ask, how are you? Like today, walked by a coworker, like, hey, how are you, Andy? I said, oh, I'm doing great. When in reality, I was having this really bad stomach pain. So I wanted to say, honestly, Brian, it feels like there's a pack of badgers that's having a turf war inside my intestine, and it is painful. See, it just feels like a little TMI.